What's up guys, it's National Master Demapples here, back with another video. Today I'm going to be showing you the only opening you need to know as white in all of chess. So we start out with d4, and the most common response is d5 and knight f6. Now you might be wondering why d4 and why not e4? Well, in a way, this certain opening that starts with d4 is very simple to remember, and it's very, very effective. I've beaten a multitude of other chess masters with it. So after d5, yes, we go bishop f4. I've heard that the London is really boring, but in fact, this is definitely not true. So let's take a look at knight f6, which is a bit more common. We can transpose into our line with bishop f4 followed by d5. And if black goes for pawn to g6, we can go for the same kind of setup. So this is the London system setup we just need to get to. And as you can see, like, our pieces are very nicely developed. And we have a simple plan. We're going to stick our knight into e5. We're going to maybe move this knight as well. And we are going to put our bishop here, because black will most likely castle kingside. And we are just going to attack him. I mean, that's it. We're going to throw our pawns up. We're going to move our knight in. And it's really easy, right? You just move the knights in and you attack and you win. I'm going to show a quick example of how things can go really wrong for black really quickly. So after pawn to c5, knight to d2 is a very logical move. And knight to c6, black is just developing. We're just defending. Again, we got our classic London pyramid here. And we got our bishop outside of the pawn chain, so it's nice and active. Bishop d6, black wants to trade off our active bishop. And an important move, bishop to g3. Now, black does not necessarily want to take this bishop, because after we take back, as you can see, we have a very nice open file for our rook. So you say something like castles and bishop to d3, and if black does anything wrong, let's say he does nothing, right? We can even go for something like g4, for example, and if black takes here, he's already lost the game. His king is just too weak. And if not, we're going to remove the defender of this pawn, and this is very good. So, in short, black should not be taking here. Rather, black should castle, and this has been played by many masters. After bishop to d3 and queen to e7, this has still been played by many masters. And now we have a very nice move here. Continuing with our plan, knight to e5, dropping the knight in the center. And we have some plans, right? We can go for here, and go for some kingside attack by storming up all our pawns and moving in our pieces. We still retain this opportunity to crack open the kingside as well. And as you can see, with our nice pyramid structure, our king is as snug as a bug in a rug. Black usually plays knight d7 here. Black can already go wrong in a variety of ways. If bishop takes knight, then after pawn takes and knight d7, f4 is very nice for white, because white has the bishop here, and black has one very sad bishop that's getting blocked by all his pawns. Second of all, white just has an unopposed light squared bishop and dark squared bishop, as you can see, and attacking ideas like queen h5 and bishop h7 are pretty easy, as well as possibly f5 or moving the knight to f3. So this is good for white. And usually, okay, and obviously, if knight takes knight, you can take back with a very nice fork on the bishop and the knight, which means it's really annoying for black to remove the knight, which is after knight e5. Black usually goes for knight to d7. After knight d7, we are going to just take. Now, while this may not be the best move, f4 is also a very interesting move if you want to check it out. This is the most trappy one, because the most natural move is wrong. The most natural move is queen takes b7, and this is the best move. However, the most natural move, bishop takes d7, is actually an error, and we'll see why. After bishop takes bishop, queen takes bishop, we take this pawn. And if black takes this pawn, which is a big mistake, it takes even the engine a while to realize that this is a mistake. Now, of course, black doesn't have to take, but the side effect is, well, we're just probably going to go b4, castle next, and we are up a pawn. Black still has to prove compensation, and his bishop is kind of sad. After queen takes pawn, we have the amazing, brilliant move, bishop takes h7 check. Wow. So let's take a look. If black doesn't take the bishop, we're up a pawn, first of all, but second of all, queen to h5 is crushing. So black is basically forced to take this bishop. And after queen to h5 check, king to g8, you might say, well, there's nothing. What is there? Then you realize this amazing move. Knight to e4. And so black has only a couple moves here. The only move is actually queen to c4. Because if he takes, he hangs a queen. This is why the move is so powerful. Other moves like queen e7 just don't cut it. After knight g5, black cannot simply move the rook and after queen h7 get checkmated. This is just not acceptable. And so in this case, black would still have to give up the queen for the knight. I apologize for the train coming by. So now we still go knight to g5, and the reason why black goes queen to d3 is goes queen to c4 is so now that he can go queen to d3 defending checkmate. But we have the brilliant move. Pawn to e4, disconnecting the queen. And after rook to e8, we have queen f7, king h8, and now we have a multitude of good moves. But the strongest is rook to d1, forcing the queen away. Queen goes back, and now we pretty much win here in a multitude of ways. But the engine is also giving pawn to f4 as an option, basically saying black can't do anything, right? Our plan is to go queen g6, and well, how is black planning to stop mate, right? Well, we can repeat moves, but the plan is actually rook f1, rook f3, and rook h3, and this is actually unstoppable. Second of all, here we can just, well, take the free piece, of course, but we want more than that. So e4, brilliant move, is a very nice move for white, a very nice resource. After knight g5, rook d8 is most common by masters, but after queen takes pawn, and a little bit of dancing around, we have rook to d1. And the reason why this is so strong is because it prevents queen to d3 in the first place. Black cannot get on this diagonal because of this knight. And black is actually helpless. See, what white is threatening is the exact same thing as before. White just wants to go f4, rook f1, lift the rook, and this is just unstoppable. So black has to go e5 here in order to open up his bishop and control the d4 square. But white can still go queen f7, check, king h8, and pawn to e4, all the same. And it's just Jover, you know. If black does nothing, right? White, well, first of all, white's going to take this pawn. But second of all, black can't take this pawn either because he hangs his queen. And so it's just over. It's just over right here. White is going to take the pawn with something. So let's say a6, as I said earlier. And now, well, it's very simple now. White checks, king h8, and now white takes here. And while it is even material, it really is not. Black's king is just simply way too weak here, and white still has the idea of playing f4, rook f1, rook here, and just attacking. And basically, black is dead. None of his pieces can move. This bishop can't move. And yeah, like, what is this queen doing? What is this rook doing? White's just completely winning, as you can see by the eval bar. So a very nice way you can win with the London, and how a lot of London attacks go. You'd be surprised how many masters actually fall for this. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you give the London a try, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.